Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome to what some may call the most educational episode of the Wicked Wild's Campfire Tales. Uh, we're in for a weird one today. And I know I say that every time, but man, this one, ooh. But first, join me as always is Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Doing well. I'm pretty excited to learn about all kinds of stuff this week.
Oh, good, good. Hey, Jeff, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. Now listen, this is a serious question, so I really want you to put some thought into it.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, what would you do? All right. If say it's the 1500s, right?
Okay.
And you're in a village, you just mind your own business, doing whatever you do in the 1500s. They're probably like washing dirt with dirt. And all of a sudden you look and there's an angry mob. And they go, "Hey, show us your genitals. Because if you don't have some, we think you're a witch or a bird's a stake." What are you going to do?
I probably show my genitals. I
You,
mean, in all fairness, if it was the 1500s, my genitals were probably out most of the time anyway. So,
well, you didn't wear pants?
I mean, not very good ones, you know.
They're basically just like on your
Yeah,
knees.
yeah, yeah. That's. I mean,
Jeff's
that's.
not about hiding his light under a bushel.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
mean, I'm
true.
not. That's not my. That's not the life I live.
I mean, by that answer, I'm thinking they'd be like, "Hey, we think Jeff's a witch," and they'd be like, "No, just his pants only covers his knees. His genitals always hanging out. He's good
Yeah,
to
he's
go."
fine. He's fine. Yeah, no
All
big
right,
deal.
all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Also joining us is Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Hey, Dave. Can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Uh, Once again, this is a serious question, so I want you to put some thought into it. Right?
Okay.
Say you're in your village, right?
hmm As I
And
am.
as you are, 1500s, you're I don't know, probably breaking rocks with other rocks
Yeah.
to make smaller rocks, right?
Fighting off syphilis and the
Yeah,
plague.
right, right. And you're just doing your thing, and all of a sudden a crow uh lands next to you. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna think, "Oh man, I gotta get rid of that crow because people think I'm gonna witch," or are you gonna think a witch is trying to get to your genitals?
No, I'm probably just going to throw a rabbit at it. That's what you do, right?
Do you just carry rabbits to throw at things?
Do you not?
No.
Well, that's a you problem.
Are
Ooh,
Dave and I in the same village in this scenario?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Like you're known as the guy whose genitals is always out. Dave is known as the guy who carries a weird number of rabbits that he just chucks at people.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like
Sounds like sounds like a colorful village to live in,
I
if you
wouldn't
ask me.
say you guys are considered the village idiots, but like, if they're ranking people in the
Wow.
village, you guys aren't, real high. Well, what do you expect? You just told me you'd be wearing pants that just let all your stuff hang out.
I didn't say on purpose. I mean, my pants probably got holes and,
Well, just fix them.
I'm busy dirt and dirt. I don't know you know?
Let's just say around our village, we are known as Dick Out and the Hair Boy. That's kind of how
Hair
we're known
a
locally.
hairy dick out is what the,
Oh,
for short. Like,
oh my God. Okay. Well,
You're the wiener.
do a
you know
lot
what?
do a lot of crows hang out around me in this scenario?
Not you.
Not me in particular?
Not you particularly. Like probably because
Are crows known for going for genitals?
I don't I don't think so.
Is this a National Geographic special we're
A
doing
little bit.
tonight?
A little bit. This is gonna
Okay.
be a little bit of National Geographic special. This is gonna be
Okay.
one of those things where people are like, they just want to make a bunch of dick jokes. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is educational
Yeah. Keep it
with dick
I
classy.
mean,
jokes.
yeah, it can be two things. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think in this, there's a legitimate opportunity for the dick jokes to come organically.
you're right, yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Subject- Yeah.
It's gonna happen. There's gonna be a lot of fun jokes tonight. And on that note, to get kind of what we're going at, as you know, in the main show last week we talked about the witch. So I thought this week we would discuss some may argue is one of the darkest books in human history. Real books, I should say. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Malleus Maleficarum, which roughly translates to the Hammer of the Witches. Ooh.
Pretty
Are
scary noise.
I know, right? Are either of you familiar with the Hammer of the Witches?
I've heard of it, yes. Mhm.
Okay, what about?
Yes.
All right,
As
all right.
a literature major, I think it came up in my colonial literature stuff. We
Where,
obviously didn't read it.
uh, where they weren't like, hey, here's this old book about dicks. Don't worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like I was saying, this is considered one of the darkest, most influential books in human history. This book is credited by a lot of historians as the kind of direct nexus point that set off the witch inquisition in Europe in the 15th, 16th century.
Which Inquisition?
The witch inquisition.
Which one?
The witch.
Which Inquisition?
Yeah, the witch inquisition. Yeah,
Which
I see.
one?
I see what you're doing there. I don't like it. And
You had to think. I saw by your face you had to think a second.
well, because I was like, is he confused or was he doing there?
you're like, what's happening? Is a crow coming after my genitals? I can't tell.
I'm like looking around for the cause. But
you better not upset Mary. She'll come out and she'll be like, I bought this pet crow.
Eli, is that why you have them tattooed on your flesh?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It is. It's so like it tricks other crows into thinking, oh, well, they're already going after
He's
his
already been
genitals.
plucked.
We
So
don't need to go there.
He's been
Is that like a genital ward?
Yeah, basically. Oh, I see what you did there.
You heard it here. Eli has a genital ward.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But yeah, so the witch inquisition, as well as the infamous Salem witch trials. So this is a dark book, and this dark book had a some people call it dark beginning, which led to dark events. But like to me, it's just like guy who wrote this was kind of a douche. The book was written in 1486 by a German Catholic clergyman named Heinrich Kramer. If you asked him why he wrote this book, it was because he thought witches were rising in power, that they were heretics and they should be charged with heresy, and that it was a blight the church was responsible to cleaning out, right? But if you look at the events which led up to him writing this book, I think there may have been a different motive. Because basically, this dude was a clergyman in this village, and many noted that he became, in what I can only describe as old-timey speak for a pervert, excuse me, was he became sexually obsessed with the shapely ways of a woman in the village.
Shapely ways.
The shapely ways.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. Seems old-timey, right? And this guy, and this may surprise you, one, the church was like, well, hey, bro, you can't do that. You're a clergyman. Also, this woman, not really interested in him.
Weird.
Yeah. Was not really interested in him.
Can I
And
make a guess that he probably would have played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons if he
whoa. First off, how dare you? Okay. How dare you?
Glad you got your headphones on because that's in stereotype, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You should be embarrassed, Dave. Okay. You should be embarrassed.
Going.
You should be embarrassed. All right. First off, guy, we've never done anything like this. I don't think Jeff and I wrote a book about hunting people, right, Jeff?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't.
See,
I haven't published
What is the
anything.
other name you go by on the podcast?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Okay.
Don't refer what you're going to. Anyways, so this even though the church told him like, hey, leave this girl alone, apparently he did not. She turned down his weird obsessions or whatever those were with her shapely ways. And wouldn't you know, shortly after he's like, I think she's a witch. And I think she should be tried as a witch. Now, at this time, a lot of people realize being a witch was actually kind of like a minor crime. If you were accused of witchcraft, the heaviest punishment you received was a day in the stocks. They would, put you in the stocks for a day, say, hey, stop that. You would leave. They caught you again. They go, you're going to spend another day in the stocks. But old Mr. Kramer thought, not this time, because he wanted to torture a confession out of her and thought that for her ways, she should be put to death. the bishop of the area stepped in and said, "What are you doing, guy? What's going on here?" And basically exiled him from the village and banned him from practicing. So, in his creepy perverted way, he wrote this extreme book about finding witches, what they do, supporting his theories of witches, uh, and how to interrogate, punish them, which is basically death, like all this dark stuff. And he wanted to release this book. A lot of people weren't happy about it. The church is like, you can't do this. So the dude went to the Pope because all these other preachers like, we're not supporting this. We're not releasing this book. You're not printing this book. We're not passing this book out. Like, you need to stop. He went to the Pope, presented his thoughts to the Pope, and the Pope at the time said, "You're all right, guy," and gave him a full papal approval so he can write this book and start a new witch inquisition.
What approval?
Papal. Where you going with that?
No, I just didn't understand what you said.
Yeah, a papal approval.
Why'd
They
you-
called a
okay.
bull, papal bull. Isn't that what he got?
Papal bull.
Well, that was the certificate, yeah.
Hmm.
But like the Pope gave him his approval, which is a
Popable?
popable approval.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and said, "Hey, you got all the support." Named him a witch hunter. Said, "We'll print your book. We'll pass it out." And which is also something also different for the time. There were some universities which were mainly filled with people of the church and theologians, and all of them came out and said, "Whoa, this book is gross. Shouldn't be made. What are we doing with this?" But by that point, Pope already gave his approval. It was too late.
Yeah, it sounds like this guy got a crit roll on his influence.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this guy might be. If this guy was in a rock band, he might be Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Wow.
Because so like even so he got his approval. He was starting this new witch inquisition. And there was a guy, one of these, who was actually the witch hunter. One of these witch hunters that was a real witch hunter, was like against this book and said, "This is too much. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is, I don't approve this. I hate it. This guy shouldn't be hunting witches." So Kramer, the guy's name was Springer. Kramer, who was super petty, went, "Okay," and then started listing Springer as an author on the book.
That
Jerry
seems
Springer.
Yeah, Jerry Springer. So author on the book. And so then this guy, the Springer, basically spent the rest of his life and his power trying to take away power and influence and talk down on this Kramer guy, which like during the Inquisition in Europe, it was kind of too late. Like it kind of already built up and he was doing his thing. But then towards the end of Kramer's life, enough people were like, "Well, this is all really gross," and they really wouldn't let him preach anywhere because they're like, "We don't want to hear your
You're
nonsense
done,
anymore."
bud. You're done.
Because some of his
Garbage.
ideas
It only
were,
took them what several decades and
Mhm.
hundreds of lives.
yeah, basically.
Maybe this isn't great.
No. Because they, a lot of people consider, one, this book came up with things about witches that no one ever heard of, and his theories. Two, was not very kind to women. And three, made some kind of weird arguments that like as like the Inquisition built up, and then it kind of like towards the end of the Inquisition, they kind of ignored the weird stuff. They're like, "Oh, well, this book is true," and they're like, "What about this?" And they're like, "Well, I mean, that part, yeah, don't worry about it." I think we're just gonna like and then when it came by
I am
time,
Agent of Chaos is added again.
yeah, and by the time the
This is how that guy felt after he got the Pope's approval.
pretty much,
He's like,
he's like, "That girl didn't like me, but she like me now.
how about now?
I got that Pope approval." But yeah, so that's kind of like the build up to how this book was made. It was written by a guy who asked a girl out, was denied, and so he went and cried to the Pope and got started Inquisition.
It's pretty much the same plot of When Harry Met Sally, right? I mean, they're pretty much the same story.
Basically, yeah.
I don't remember Harry writing basically a manifesto about witches in that movie.
Maybe I saw a different.
I think you did. I think you did. So yeah, so basically, this book, like I said, it's a compendium of literature in regards to demonology, because he talks a lot about how demons play into the process of witches. Also, and the witchcraft as he saw it as whole, uh, and the dark influence it had mainly on men. And he put in a step by step how he saw that you should capture, interrogate, try, and punish witches. The argument was in his book was no matter what the involvement in witchcraft was, whether it was little or whatever, they should be considered heretics, and the crimes at the time for heresy was to be burned at the stake. So all witches should be burned at the stake, which is why they say to burn witches at the stake.
So it was really a pass-fail test. There were no grades.
Nope, it's pretty much, hey, do we think you're a witch? Guess what?
Burn a steak.
Burn steak.
Yeah, they're pretty scientific back then.
It was because basically,
It wasn't.
no, but like basically, like if you look at like he was real broad in what a witch was, in this book, and then basically like the like there was like a book that came out, like I said towards the end that was more about hardcore with its signs. This book was like kind of broad, so like you could kind of almost make anything into the sign of a witch.
Yeah.
Felt like he did that on purpose.
Is this where the straw man argument came from?
Straw man argument?
Mhm.
What's straw man argument?
If you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you.
All right,
Roasted.
fair enough.
Google that.
You know what? Don't tell me what to Google.
Not gonna lie, I've spent the last 20 minutes trying to get an AI to generate an image of a man getting struck in the crotch with lightning.
That's a good one for you.
Not so good. So good. At least I'm contributing to the machine learning.
You have got obviously, Eli, you've got Jeff fully engaged in the story.
You know what? I'm starting to think Jeff's a witch.
Well, I read some of the powers here, and I think I was. Let's see if I get. Here's what I came up with. Let me pull it up here.
What is that? But that's like hitting him in the head.
Well, I think he backs to you, so it's like, you know what I mean.
Oh, so it's like going past.
He's either getting attacked by a witch or getting the power of Thor, one or the other. I'm not sure which one.
I didn't know you got the power of Thor through lightning to your wiener.
That's exactly how you get it. I mean, weren't you on the mythology episode?
I was.
Okay.
But I don't remember any of us talking about it.
Yeah, that was like one of the first topics we covered.
Oh, wiener lighting.
How to get Thor's powers.
Yeah, that was the one difference between a Jotun and a god, right?
Yeah, it was lightning wiener.
Some of them get struck in the crotch with lightning. Some of them don't. I mean, that's basically the only difference between them.
Oh, lightning wiener. Okay.
I didn't say that. I said, struck in the crotch with lightning.
Okay.
It could be anybody.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a wiener.
All
Come on, Eli.
All right. That's don't know how to respond to that. I'm maybe silently dialing 911 right now because it's a little concerning.
I just send these tapes over the FBI
for it too. All right. Now I figured
an honest question for you.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
What legitimately is this guy's background educationally? Like, I mean, does he have any training in any of this at all?
He was a clergyman. Right. So, but it sounded like he was in a small village. So if I had to guess, his training consisted of not much in any of this.
Right.
And because when I tell you some of this, it sounds kind of like he made it up as he went.
Not that he did. You're not accusing.
No, not. I would never. I would never.
Did you call him a clergyman?
Yeah, clergyman.
You said clergy.
I said clergy.
No, you said clergyman.
Well, I'm probably concerned about the FBI. I'm talking in code.
Right. I was just wondering if that was something different than a clergyman.
No, he's a clergyman.
Which is different from a corgi man.
Yeah, it's definitely not a corgi
if they pronounced their G's different in the 1400s.
They're witches.
That was a little
I guess
bit.
That's true.
That was a little bit of my accent coming through. Clergyman.
Okay.
That's clergyman.
Clergyman.
He was a clergyman, so I imagine he had some form of education. He wasn't like there were actually witch hunter jobs at this time.
Apparently there was a professional that knew he was an idiot.
Yeah, like there were professional witch hunters. He was not one of them until he got his golden ticket from the Pope. And somehow with that golden ticket, like for your book, he's like, you know what? You're a witch hunter now.
Yeah, he rolled a natural 20.
Yeah, and also you gotta start a new Inquisition guy.
I mean, and let's be honest, the guys that were quote unquote professional witch hunters, they were probably pretty terrible too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But once again, though, the worst thing they did to witches, put them in the stock for a day, then let them go. They're like, hey,
that's still
don't do that anymore. No, it's not great, but it's also not burning them at the stake.
That's true. Yeah, there are grades here for sure.
Yeah, and like if you look at some of their stuff, it's like witches will use crab apples to make the stomach hurt of people they don't like.
So it's just generally just like Catholicism that engaged in witch hunting, or Protestant as well? Well, wasn't that around the time?
So Protestant end up picking it up. It was, they were kind of smaller when this started, and so they had some, but it wasn't anywhere near as large as the Catholic Church. And then as the Inquisition kind of grew and spread throughout Europe, you also had the Catholic and Protestant wars going on, and the Protestants grew.
Because this was written, what'd you say,
1485.
14. Oh, I thought you 1492, but that was Columbus.
Yeah, he sailed the ocean.
Okay. Yeah. But that was what, in the mid 1500s or something?
Right. Well, yeah, because
something like that.
Yeah, because basically then what happened was the Protestants. So towards the end of the European witch Inquisition, like they were like, okay, like this seemed like a little much, we should quit. Well, then a lot of the Protestants took it, then they came to the U.S. And then next thing you know, you got the Salem witch trials. So they're like, you know what? We're not done playing this record.
Nice.
Let's do some more terrible shit.
They already had a handbook, so half the job's done
by that point, they had a couple handbooks.
Yeah.
This was just the start of the long line of shitty handbooks. This is like IKEA. This is like the IKEA furniture handbook. Like you don't really know what you're doing.
We're never going to get an IKEA sponsor like that. So
were we trying to? I love their meatballs. Hey IKEA, you got some good meatballs.
And their miniature display cases are pretty impressive.
Yeah, great miniature display cases. You know, and they have some cool light fixtures.
Yeah, see.
So if anybody from IKEA is listening, that was actually a compliment.
Brought to you by IKEA.
That was a compliment from us. But so, like I said, it was also kind of weird time because like all the Pope scholars were like, "Hey, don't do this." He was like, "Nah, it'll be fine." Basically, the main issues will say, "Oh my God, a witch just showed up!"
Wow,
whoa,
and just like that.
Oh my God, everybody! Jaime just jumped on with the powers of the witch.
I was gonna say, if I had the powers of the witch, they're not with me tonight because I hit every goddamn red light on the way.
Well, hey, listen, Jaime, you missed the shenanigans, but you came just in time for the good stuff.
Perfect. Okay, good.
All right. So, the Malleus Maleficarum, there's a lot, like it's a long book. The first part of the book is basically about how this guy, everybody that says he's wrong, they're wrong, and the Pope approves them. And like he's a religious scholar, he knows what's going on. And it's basically like everybody says I'm wrong. Do you got a Pope approval? I don't think so. The second, the middle part of the book is all about his theories on witches, and the third part is a step-by-step guide to how to capture, interrogate, /torture, prosecute, and punish witches. Now, it's actually a long text with a lot of craziness, but I thought we'd just kind of hit some of the highlights.
I don't know which part of his book was his favorite to pen.
If I had to guess, well, you know what's weird? If I had to guess, it's the middle part,
right?
Because there's an awful lot of mentions of genitalia.
Hey, you know,
an awful lot.
You like what you like, right?
I what are you gonna do in my research for my backgrounds?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't for your background, but you found some images. I mean,
Yeah.
Quiet you.
So I fear we go through a couple of the high points here. So the first high point is what he determined was a witch, and kind of how to figure out if you had a witch in the area, right? So for someone to be a witch, they had to complete they had to have 3 basically qualifications. One, which makes absolutely no sense to me. The first is they have to have the evil intention of a witch. They had to want to get witches' powers for some type of evil intent. The evil intent includes revenge or murder of someone, the desire to murder children, or the weirdest one is they're obsessed with having sex with men.
Ew.
And animals.
Ew.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, never mind. Okay.
Yeah. That had to be their intent. They were either want revenge, they wanted to murder, they wanted to hurt children, or they wanted to have a bunch of sex.
Or they want to have sex with men.
Or
is it okay with women?
Or animals.
Or animals, but it's okay with women.
Well, male animals or female animals, or doesn't
or just women having sex.
It didn't
not
defer.
Okay.
Well, Jamie, this book basically says that mainly women are witches. If a man's a witch, it's because they don't have genitals, so they're not really having sex. This book was mainly that women were evil and were the cause of everything, which is completely wrong. But the dude, someone told him no, they didn't want to date him, and he got all scornful and wrote a shitty book. So that's the first.
And wrecked Europe.
Yeah, and wrecked Europe and America with it. Yeah. So that's the first qualification you have to, if you think someone's a witch, you have to find out their intent. The second qualification is they had to have the help of the devil to give them their powers, either by making a deal with the devil or making the deal with a demon who then took the deal to the devil. Now, that deal could either be done through asking them to give them those powers, or doing basically a job for them to do that to get that power. Weird thing, a lot of the things they had to do was to have sex with the demon or the devil. That's how they made the deal.
Did this guy hate sex? Is that what it is?
No, he
wanted it, but
yeah.
Well, he wanted it, couldn't get it. So anybody who got it was just condemned.
Witches.
The devil. Yep.
Witches. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And the third one, which doesn't really make sense to me, and this is one it kind of ended up dropping, and everybody ignored this step as the Inquisition went on. They had to get the permission from God to become a witch.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, none whatsoever.
Say, how does that work?
So first, you're I want to murder somebody. I have to have sex with the devil to do it. Hey, God, you cool with this? It makes no
really
sense.
Weird.
Yeah, makes no sense. And it doesn't. It's not really it's kind of elaborated on. Makes no sense whatsoever. I couldn't figure out what he was talking about. And then if you look through kind of how the Inquisition went, even the Salem witch trials, this last one kind of wasn't brought up a lot. Because I think a lot of
hear me out.
And I just think that, they didn't know what to do. So they're well, we're just gonna ignore that one. Also in this section about the help from the devil, they talk a lot about succubuses. He believes those are the demons that gave witches their powers because, they want to have sex with women.
Mm-hmm.
They also had the incubi, which were the ones that had sex with men, but that was a grotesque form because typically if a man was a witch, he didn't have genitals. So
I think you've got those backwards. Incubi.
Yeah.
The male
So that
genitals.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that backwards.
Incubi
Yeah.
have
Do
sex
not
with ladies.
Actually,
Yeah.
moment there.
No, I'm pretty sure
Succubus are the female demons.
Yeah, succubus
Oh,
are
you're right. Yep,
females.
have them backwards.
Actually,
Yeah, you're right. Have them
Wow.
backwards. Sorry about that. Whatever. They're demons having
you're
sex.
a
Okay.
witch. That's what we
How dare you?
Anybody who gets those mixed up is a witch.
How dare you? How dare you? Okay. Hey, first off, how dare you?
You already said that. You
I'm
must be a
saying it
witch.
again. Well, I'm not, man. All right, don't say that.
Do you dig through the ditches?
And I burned through the witches. Okay. And I'm driving a Dracula. I don't
Whatever
care.
happened to Rob Zombie?
He still plays the same songs over and over
Really?
again. Every once in a while, comes out with a new one that no one likes. Then he just goes back to
He's
singing
just
the
like,
old stuff.
All right, here's some of my new stuff, and everybody's like, okay, and he's like,
Mhm.
good now, Dracula.
Yeah, well, I went to a Rob Zombie concert probably 4 years ago. Was the last one I went to, and
4 years. Wow, that's pretty recent.
Yeah, that's
yeah, about 4 years ago.
Because I was
5
gonna say
years ago or no?
last one I went to was 98.
Oh
right?
no,
Yeah.
it was 6 years ago. It was like 2016, so 6
Wow.
years ago. And I remember it's when he came out with that. It was that album like We're All Right on Aliens or something. Whatever. It was like this weird album. Like the song was about having sex with aliens or something. But like he would play one song and everybody just stood there. I'm like, do you have watched? He's like,
was it the long shaft aliens or was it the gonad aliens?
Yeah, which one?
I mean, isn't that one and the same?
No, they're two different types of aliens.
You taught us this.
Try to catch
We
you.
went through all this.
Try to catch you. See if you're an alien. You know, you passed. But yeah, people stand there. They'd be like, "Now we're Dracula." And everybody like, ah. He's like, "Oh, now we're gonna see this new song from album." And like, it was just like everybody just stopped and like, like they all go to the concession stand. So, you know,
seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. But so then he goes into some of the powers and the abilities that witches had. And there were some weird ones. The first one, witches had the power to kill children because a non-witch could never kill a child, but a witch had the power to harden their heart, kill a child.
This ultimate evil.
That is like
Jamie's face. He's like, that doesn't sound hard at all.
Well, I like when you read them, like as he goes on, the more powerful ones come. And if this is the start of the list, what I get to, I don't think his list makes any sense.
Oh, that's when you okay.
That's where you draw the line.
That's where
The second power a witch has is the power to injure and mutilate cattle.
that takes a power.
That's their power. They can
That's
injure
how
and
they
mutilate
did
cattle.
it, like just
No,
with their mind, or like
with their power. And
so
with
Skinwalker Ranch, a witch coven situation.
No, because they killed the cattle. This is just injuring and mutilating.
Like they push them over or whatever.
Yeah, they do cow tipping. Like you have a coven of witches running out there just knocking over cows.
So if I want to accuse my wife of being a witch in this time, all I have to do is go over and cut off the tip of the ear of my cow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but then people are like, "Hey, did you do that? Show me your genitals."
You just be like, no, I didn't, because my wife's a witch. And I'd be like, okay, she's a woman. She's a witch. I mean, if it was the 1500s, that would be, you know.
That's true. Even if your hand's bloody and you're holding the ear stump, they'd be like, "Oh, you said it was a woman did it? Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, it seems that easy.
The third power, which may have been one of my favorites, is divided in two parts. One, a witch could conjure lightning to blast animals away, or they could conjure a harrow storm to blast the genitals off of a man with lightning.
Now, what level do they have to reach before they earn their spells?
Well, that was the third one listed, so I would think you don't have to go too far to blast penises off with lightning.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Is there a special role you have to do for that?
I don't know. I was thinking they use finger guns.
I'm just saying this guy sounds like Gary Gygax. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. Listen, I play D&D, sir, okay? And I've never once wrote this book or hoped I could use lightning to shoot off someone's genitals, okay? How dare you?
Okay, Mo King.
How dare you? The fifth power was
moles often go after crotches with lightning.
They do.
Is that a thing that
we don't like talk about? We don't like talk about.
Okay. Wasn't sure. I mean,
we don't like talk about it, okay? That's a private thing. We don't like talk about. All right. Just like you would never ask somebody if they're pregnant. You don't ask moles if they like to chase people and shoot their wieners off lightning.
Why wouldn't you ask that?
Wow.
Yeah.
You have
That's
no
actually
couth.
in my quest for knowledge, we'll call it. like an actual pregnant lady symptom. It's called like lightning crotch or thunder crotch or something like that. I guess it's like when they're pregnant.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even joking because I was trying to find images of crotches getting shot with lightning and it kept coming up. So,
Yeah, but like I don't think actual lightning's coming out.
I don't know. I'm not pregnant or a woman. So,
So you just read the name of it, but nothing
I don't know.
else.
I don't know.
Hey,
the science
I'm like
behind
this
it, but
guy
it
that
sounds
wrote this
like-
book. The female body is a mystery to me. Okay, like I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my god. Their other so then their power of they could mesmerize people, which later became known as glamour. They could make people see things that weren't real. Mainly, this power was used to either plague people with images of the devil or to entice men to have unholy sex with them against their will.
I was gonna say, what's the
So, on the-
difference? What
Do
makes
they
it
have
unholy?
these ranked by power? Because I feel
This
like
I'm going by the
glamour
listing.
is a little less powerful than shooting lightning at crotches. I mean, I'm not, you know.
I'm going by the number he listed them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We have 2 more abilities that witches have. Okay, so these top 2, these are the bottom 2 on the list, right? And from
Bangers.
what I can tell, I mean these are the crazy ones, right? They have the power to remove the genitals from men. Just remove them without even lightning. They can just whoosh.
Wow.
Wipe them
God.
away.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's 2 powers to remove genitals. So I don't know if one's the more flashy one, like you do if people are watching, and the one's like, oh, I'm by myself. I don't need all the lightning. I can just remove them.
Is that like the head witch does that, right? Like she's like, I'm not going to bother with lightning.
Apparently, any witch can just.
It's like the Twilight Zone episode with the kid who could banish to the cornfield. Like these women just like think about it, and the guy
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
gone. They just look down, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that
It's banished to the cornfield.
I'm pretty sure
They just go out to get the farmers out there picking corn and finds a bunch of penises out there.
That ain't right.
Like there must be a witch around here banishing all these penises to the cornfield.
I mean,
Why
correct-
my cornfield?
Yeah,
Why
like-
does she keep sending them here?
she's flirting.
Yeah, like,
No one wants to buy my wiener corn.
or maybe like when you unpeel the husk off the corn, it's just wiener. That's probably a witch power, I'd say, right?
Yeah.
We can make a corn wiener. It's called
Corn wiener.
Or what if it's like a swap, right? Like you just wake up and like your wiener's a corn cob. And, you know what I mean? Like,
And then Eli's over there slathering peanut butter.
I was
and-
about to get there.
he's like-
Thank you, Dave.
He's like, come over here. I got
Hey.
some peanut butter and burgers for you.
You're gonna have it. You might as well use it.
Let me show you what you can do with that thing.
Yeah, like, let me show you.
You'll never not be hungry for birds.
I'm pretty
What?
sure even
That's how,
Hermione
well.
did the
Hey,
spell.
you know what? We just brought this full circle. That's why the crows, as forementioned, attacked people's wieners.
Because they're eating the
See?
corn and
They
peanut
eat the
butter.
corn and peanut butter and
Oh
birdseed.
my god!
See? Witches knew what they were doing back then. You know?
Wow. You know what? I'm starting to think this book's not so crazy.
Okay, Mill King. He might be onto something here.
And the last power listed of the witch is the ability to cause extreme love or hatred in somebody. So they can either make somebody extremely hateful or extremely loving that often led to sex.
Wait, so was no one allowed to like be married or fall in love?
Well,
Like everybody
as
had
long
to
as
be
you-
miserable, or
You were
a witch.
married and you were having sex to have children. It was fine.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
But what if? Oh no, I'm sorry. You got married just to procreate, like just to repopulate the earth, but you could not fall in love because those loving feelings
Hey.
that you were a witch.
Hey,
So I feel like you have a half of that power, Eli, because you have the ability to make people hate you.
I don't know if that's as much magic as
Magic is just personality.
you'll never know.
I'm pretty
You'll
sure
never know.
Hermione even had this potion, right? Didn't
Well,
How
yeah,
much
yeah.
in she is?
Hey, you know.
Right. And I do believe that she knew the Wingardium Leviosa.
Uh,
spell.
first off, that's Wingardium Leviosa. Okay,
Whoa,
Leviosa.
You crossed the line, Dave.
Yeah.
Talk about
How
Harry
dare you.
Potter.
How dare
I've
you?
already I've already taken on D&D, and now I'm
Didn't-
hitting
yeah,
Harry
Didn't
Potter.
didn't Gandalf use
Ooh,
didn't his
Hey,
staff
I-
have
listen,
a wiener at the
I,
top of it?
want you.
won't stand
Whoa!
for it.
Don't you dare!
Whoa.
You listen. You walk in line.
Wasn't
bring
that
up
his
Gandalf.
powers? He could like
No.
blast people's crotches off or
No,
whatever. With
I
his-
mean, if he
his
wanted to,
wizard
sure,
abilities.
but like he was a wizard.
You
first
shall
off.
not pass, and then their crotches are boom.
That's why
And
he
a
works
bunch of
so
popcorn-
hard.
Yeah,
Bunch of
That's a-
popcorn came out of
that's
their
why the
pants.
Balrog. Yeah, that's what he did to the Balrog. I thought in that movie, wasn't it?
You shall not piss.
You know what? You know what? None of these deserve a response. Okay, you should all be embarrassed. First off, all right. And I
From like
will
we're going-
be awaiting for my written apologies from each of you.
It's not.
I
and-
didn't say
and to-
anything.
But you laughed, Jamie.
And to
You
keep
laughed.
this, and to keep this
I'm a
on
witch.
theme,
God help me.
just know that this is not mine and Jeff's fault. Jamie's making us say these things.
Yes, obviously. I mean,
Right.
this is
Sorry.
you know.
Yes.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
funny
we
you
were fine
bring.
until she got here.
It's funny you bring that up because a large portion of the middle text about finding witches and what they can do, basically the whole ending of it and like back middle was basically about how women were evil. That's why they fell for it being witches, and that basically because of the evil that's already in their heart and their evil wild ways, that's why they fall for it. So I'm sure that has nothing to do with the fact that one girl thought he was just a weird, dirty old preacher in her village and didn't want to date her. Had nothing to do with that. All right. And then there's
Not-
also this
he's
weird.
not bitter at all.
No, he's like, that's why you'll always mainly find women as witches, except there are some male witches to keep the female witches in line, but they don't have genitals, either because they were born without genitals or a witch took their genitals and then they became a witch.
Wait, the male witches keep the females in line?
That according to him, yes.
So like the
Mhm.
witch, so the
That
female
seems-
in according to him, if I
Yes.
understand this correctly,
Yeah,
female witches turned these men into male witches.
most
then-
of them, yes.
But
Mhm.
then the male witches still keep these women in line.
That's
who took their
correct. Mhm.
penises away.
Because
Yeah.
Okay.
this
Mhm.
man's mind could not get to a point where a woman has agency.
Yeah,
That doesn't make any
Now,
sense.
Is
That's
it
just
a
crazy talk.
requirement to not have genitals to be
to be a male witch, yeah,
Apparently,
you
yes,
can't
yeah.
have your genitals. That's how you know
That's
you're dealing with a
weird.
male witch. They don't have genitals.
Jeff has a look of disappointment on his face.
Well, I mean, like, you know, I was getting all revved up here to
To be a
start
male
studying
witch.
to be a male witch, and just,
Well, I mean, if you want to, you gotta lose your genitals.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
can't
think I
have
want
that
to. I don't
dick
think I
out.
want to. Yeah,
The hair,
I don't-
hair boy's not up. For
yeah,
this.
yeah. I don't think we.
I was apparently born the wrong gender because
Yeah. Well, you missed the opening village
Yeah.
segment, so
Yeah, because
like,
like,
say anything. Why don't you
basically-
pose that question to Jamie?
Yeah.
okay, Jamie, let me. Well,
Yeah. Ask the
how-
actual witch.
well, that's true. Jamie, let me ask you a question. Okay, you just came in. I didn't get to. Hey, let me ask you a question.
no, you didn't. Yeah.
Jamie, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
All right. Say you are living in the 1400s and
Well,
a
it's
little.
not, but okay.
But we'll say what you are, right? You're in your little village, right? You're walking about around town, okay? And there's this like weird, dirty old priest lives in town, right? And he's always staring at you, being weird.
Okay. This could just be 2023 New York also.
It could,
Okay,
it
keep
could.
going.
One day he walks up
I
to
live
you
this every day.
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, Jamie, why don't you go on a date with me?" Meanwhile, you have to remember at the time, right? Religion's a big thing. You know, priests aren't supposed to date or get married. And he's gross. But he comes up to you, asks you on a date. What do you say?
No.
Okay, so you say no, right? Then the church comes out and goes, "Hey, he shouldn't have been doing that. Sorry. Like, sorry, he shouldn't have done that, right?" Then you wake up-
Witch.
Then you wake up one morning and he's standing out your door with a couple constables and he's like, "You're a witch.
Yeah, now I'm a witch.
Now confess." What are you going to do, Jamie?
What am I gonna do? I
laugh
Yeah.
at him and point.
Are you
Yeah,
going,
I don't-
are
I
you
mean, this
going
is the-
to confess for absolution or you be like, "No, this is just that weird old pervert that asked me out"?
no, this is that weirdo pervert that won't leave me alone.
Then you're the reason they wrote this book and everything that happened. Hope you're happy.
Wow. Is this the same village Dave and I live in?
Yeah, you also live in the same village.
Why? What they do?
Well, Jeff, he sits outside of a
Wait, hold on.
barn.
Don't tell any, but just let her guess.
Okay, all right, let's say this.
Give her
What
our
do you
nickname.
think? Well, Jeff, you guys tell them your nicknames in the village.
What? Hold on. What's my nickname, Dave?
Dick.
Oh, geez, we're gonna give it away.
Yeah.
Well, no, if we tell her our nicknames, that just explain what happened. Give her
Oh,
the
okay.
questions you gave us and our responses.
Okay, all right. So we'll do it this way, right? So I asked Jeff. I say you are outside
No,
of.
don't tell her who you asked. Like, what do you?
Oh, you want her to guess which one's which?
Yeah.
Okay,
oh my
right.
God.
So I
You know what?
posed.
You're a witch.
I posed them
It's-
each.
I'm
I posed them each a question, Jamie. Right.
Uh-huh.
One of them I asked. I said, "Hey, you live in this small village in the 14th century, right? And you are outside a barn washing dirt with dirt,
Dirt with
and
dirt.
a mob of people come up, okay, and they say, "Hey, show us your genitals because we think you're a witch."
Okay.
Okay, and then the answer to that question was, "Well, it's the 14th century. My pants probably only cover my knees. My dick's probably already hanging out." Okay.
Okay, keep going.
The second question I posed was, "Hey, you live in this village in the 14th
I mean, a
century?"
goat probably already took the pants. Let's be honest.
There you go.
Probably. So it's 14th century. You're out breaking rocks with little rocks to make littler rocks, and all of a sudden a crow lands on you. Are you either A, going to hurry up and try to get rid of that crow before people accuse you of being a witch? Or are you going to go and claim that there's a witch in the area because you see a crow? And this person said, "I'm going to throw a rabbit at the crow to get it to go away."
Wait, what? Wait, first of all, why do I have to beat a crow to like
Because
get-
a crow is the signs of familiar of a witch.
just a crow?
Oh, they're
Last
crows,
night you told us
hares.
rabbits.
Well,
Yeah.
crows, hares, like it's normally small like animals.
Whatever's
like that.
around at the time. you
Yeah,
need to accuse
basically
somebody.
anything that's there that you can be like,
Well, these are both. I can see both these responses coming from both of them, but like I
Yeah.
feel like last night we talked about the rabbit, so maybe Dave is throwing the rat. I would hate Dave is throwing the rat.
That is correct.
Yeah.
which makes it even more disturbing that Jeff was basically like, "This was 14th century. I would only have pants that my stuff's just hanging out."
I mean, did you really care that much? I mean, there wasn't exactly fashion statements when you're.
I can
like,
these
you're
rubbing
comments.
dirt,
These
like,
comments are
like,
fitting. I don't. They make
Wants
sense.
to
I get.
come work with the guy in the town who's like his dick's always hanging out with pants.
What else are they going
You're
to do?
starving
There's
to
always
death. You have
there's-
constant dysentery. There's
Yeah.
no clean drinking
You're like, hey,
water.
I'm not putting
Pants
my.
are in the
I'd
way.
rather wear no pants than fecal covered pants. You know what I mean? Like,
The goats are eating the
understand.
pants
It's
because they're
right, there's
starving.
goats.
Okay.
Maybe goats are witches. What do you think about that?
No,
Well,
don't get Eli started on the
Goats
goats.
are the devil. Okay. But so so Jeff, basically you're saying, "Hey, I don't want goats to my pants, and if I have the diarrhea, I don't want to shit myself. So I just don't wear pants in my
Yeah,
village."
we're just better
So
off. you know?
so all three of us are fucked. I mean, I'm the most fucked just because I'm a woman. So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm dead. By
That's
I guess my
Jeff's-
point was, I'm good because they can already see my genitals.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
they-
that's right.
That's
And
true.
Dave's,
All right.
Dave has
That's
shooed
Jeff's
his
life
crow
hack.
off by hitting it with a rabbit. So
Never mind. So
I think
neither
you're
I'm the only one.
yeah, you're the
screwed.
only one that's in a bad way.
You guys are just being
And
mean.
I feel like
We've been
Eli.
nicknamed. That's all.
I
we've
feel
been.
like Eli phrased that question specifically to trap you into becoming a witch. You're like,
I would never.
like any witch hunter would. Yeah,
Oh, what are you claiming? What are you
because
claiming?
you're a witch hunter.
Well,
I mean, there was really no right answer for me as a female.
Nope.
Exactly.
So
because once again, terrible book caused terrible things. But I think if you look at the basis, this guy wrote this book because someone wouldn't date him. And he's like, "She's not dating me. She must be a witch."
And
of
Gygax
course,
hadn't
half of it
published
is
his
about
book
if
yet.
you have sex with anybody, you're a witch. So
Yeah. If there's other dudes out there enjoying other stuff, because
Yeah.
witches are making them. See, has
How dare
nothing
they?
to do with me.
If I ain't getting any, nobody's getting
Nobody's getting any.
Unless they're miserable.
or
I know
eating.
a certain corn cob field you can visit.
You'll knock yourself out.
Mhm. But yeah, so like that was basically like went off these about the witches. And then the last whole section of the book was the step-by-step process, how you should, which basically became kind of the format that was taken. And like that, even like as the other, like the Witch Hunter's Guide came out, which kind of like had updated info and was written by an actual witch hunter general, and people kind of followed that more. But the legal process that the Malleus Maleficarum laid out, that followed through, and they used it. And you start with, how do you accuse someone of a witch? That section didn't take much. Basically, anything that you're like, hey, they're a witch, you just gotta say they're a witch. Accusation done. The second part was the interrogation, which heavily recommended torture, because your goal was to get them to admit they were a witch, because then you have your guilty plea in the eyes of God, and you could punish them. If they didn't admit they were a witch, that means they were lying, deserved more torture, and because they kept lying to
that
you,
was coming.
led to you being able to punish them and sentence them to death.
There's no winning in this situation.
He also recommended a good cop, bad cop approach, where you torture them, then you have someone take them aside and go, listen, I know you're getting tortured. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you just admit it, this torture stops. And then if you didn't admit, then he's like, let me go talk to the other guy and see if I can calm him down. The next thing you know, you're being tortured again. He legit came up with the good cop, bad cop approach. The main torture methods he recommended was not letting them sleep. And once again, because the guy just cannot put sex in this, have them straddle torture saddles.
Oh my God.
Like, this guy, just a weird old pervert. That's all. So then once you get them through the interrogation, you go to the trial, where basically you just had to have enough witnesses to say that they believe that they are witch because of whatever they saw, and also treat them as a witness because they say, yeah, I'm a witch. But it even, once again, it says there too, like, hey, if you don't think you have enough witnesses, just go ask other people and tell them what she did, and then they can be a witness. Which makes perfect sense. And then he said, and if anybody's like, if you find a witness and they go, I didn't see it, just find more people to replace them.
And I'm assuming when you say more people, you mean more dudes.
Probably, or just anybody that will say they're a witch. Because it laid out no definition of who could be a witness. Literally anybody. And if you go to follow like the Inquisition and witch trials, they were using children, like young children, old people,
Reliable
young people,
sources, everybody.
their enemies,
Dogs, cats.
people that the towns knew hated this person. They would ask them to do it. People that were like trying to buy their land, they wouldn't sell it. They were asking them to be witnesses. Sure, it's just a coincidence.
Guys, for the record, I think this dog behind me is definitely a witch because look at its eyes.
Yeah, it's got witch eyes for sure.
And then
it is taking somebody's genitals off as we speak.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing in this picture.
I feel like I should block its eyes. Like, don't, not my genitals, dog. And then it got to the punishment stage, which was finding them guilty of heresy, because they believed at the time that was the worst crime in their legal system. So,
wait, being a witch? No, heresy.
No, heresy.
Oh, got it.
And that witchcraft would be that same level, so that they would be tried as a heretic. And the punishment for a heretic was burning at the stake, and then they burn at the stake. And you should do whatever you can to get rid of all the witches. And so follow that legal process and clear out every witch on the earth, because they were rising in power and they were taking men and turning them to the dark forces.
I don't want to say anything, but she's about to light somebody's crotch up for sure.
Well, that looks like it's coming towards her.
It's coming out of
Well,
her
that she's
crotch,
summoning
or-
it.
yeah.
Like, well, maybe that it doesn't specify where the witches shot the lightning
Yeah,
from.
maybe
You know
there's
what I
a-
mean?
That's true.
Maybe there's a peeping Tom on the other side of that window.
That's true.
This
Yeah.
guy in the back's getting it right over here. This dude's getting it.
That's why he's going to block with his sword.
He's trying to pull his sword out. He's like, "Not today, witch."
Sheila is definitely a witch.
yeah,
No
yeah.
question there.
I can pull crotches right off.
At 100 yards.
That was
But yeah, So this was a terrible book that said terrible things that were all made up, that caused terrible things that were blatantly made up by a guy who only wrote it because some girl wouldn't go out with him.
And let's give credit where credit's due. Everybody else knew that this Joker was a moron, but for some reason, the Pope's the one who empowered him.
Yeah.
So
What's crazy is like there was like three or like at the time that's probably all there were, but like, there was like 3 or 4 of these universities who had all these like theologians for the church, and like when he like went to present this to the Pope, they all came forward and said, "This is a terrible book. This isn't like this does not follow Catholic ways. This is unethical. It's ridiculous. Like none of this stuff makes sense. Like this isn't in any of the scriptures. Like none of this is real. What do we do? Like don't do this." And the Pope was just like, "Hey, you all right, guy? I've had a girl turn me down too. Write your book."
I know her. He said,
I'm not having sex. No one's having
Nobody
sex.
is.
Yeah. And then like he even got pet like, and then like, you know, and then this one guy, this actual witch hunter was like, "This is fucking ridiculous." Springer. And then old Kramer was like, "You know what? You're a co-author, bro." And then, but that guy, they said Springer spent the rest of his life, like it almost became second nature to the actual witch hunting. He spent the rest of his life denying that he was an author on the book, saying that book was horse trash, and just trying to discredit and stop Kramer from getting any jobs. And then, which by the end of Kramer's life, it finally worked. But by that point, damage has been done because a horrific Inquisition where, you know, many innocent people died in Europe happened. And then it came over to do a stateside tour where many more innocent people died. All because this tool. Go get a
horse
date.
trash.
Well, yeah, like horse shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what horse
He was being
trash
classy.
was.
You know,
I was trying to be
classy.
classy. This is
Oh yeah.
this is
I
classy.
forgot. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a
All this
classy.
general
talk.
This is the year of the wiener, not the poop. We've moved
Yeah,
on.
right. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. We've already had,
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes we've done. 4 about wieners, so we're doing well. We're on a roll.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Malleus Maleficarum. So if this book was real, I would say we should all be concerned about our genitals.
I think we should all take good care and defense of our genitals.
I think in general, I mean,
it's just a good line to take.
I don't think this book has to be real for me to worry about my genitals.
Well, but I don't think you need to worry about.
That doesn't seem like a philosophy you want to live your life by.
I don't think you have to worry about lightning striking your genitals. Or
do you?
Do you not?
I've never heard of lightning striking someone's genitals.
Have you ever not heard of lightning striking someone's genitals? Yeah. How do you know which didn't erase your mind?
But I think I would know though if lightning struck my genitals.
How would you know that?
How would you know?
Because I'm assuming they're not going to look the same after.
How do you know what they look like before?
What?
Eli, there's only one way to clear this up. Show us your genitals.
Whoa. All right, guys, I'm out.
You ain't gonna claim I'm a witch.
Yeah.
I still think the worst thing, like, once again, we talked about a book that caused terrible evil, all because of this jealous little man. Worst thing I heard tonight was Jeff was like, if I was in the 1400s, I'm just not wearing pants. I'm working in my barn.
That's the worst thing you heard?
Yeah.
Just weird.
Jeff is just fully Daffy Ducking, or I guess he's Donald.
You mean Porky Piggin. It's called Porky
Either
Piggin.
way,
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess they all didn't wear pants.
What? You know what? Maybe the inventor of Looney Tunes was a witch because nobody wore any genital or had any pants, and nobody had any genitals. So
maybe the Looney Tunes were all witches.
Yep.
Well, Donald is Disney.
I'm gonna blast your wiener off.
Is that what? You know what's though? I don't like. It's weird because
that was a very good Porky Pig impression.
I didn't because I read it a long time ago for a college course, and then like I was kind of like flipping through sections.
You read that Porky Pig was a witch a long
time
time
I read
ago?
Porky Pig was a witch.
Okay.
The Malleus Maleficarum. But you know what's weird though? The male witches, it's basically like their whole thing was like, well, they're just to keep the female witches in line. Like
so they were. There's nothing happened to them, right? No punishment. No.
Oh no, they got punished if they got caught, but there just wasn't a lot of them. Also, like, it kind of the book was kind of like, don't really look for them. It's the women you gotta be careful of.
What you may have said this, and I was like either changing a background or distracted. What happened if you defended a witch or you couldn't? Like if your
You're a
wife
witch
was
too.
accused,
It-
you are
it-
right. That's what I said.
if you're like,
your
no,
wife
they're-
is accused, and then you're just like, and you like are a decent human being, or your child, or your whatever, and you're just like,
Yeah. Reference the Crucible. It's pretty much what.
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right.
Because that's why, like, I think that's why he kept it real broad in terms of what a witch is. He's like, here's these 3 things they have to have. And so then if someone's like, oh, that my wife's not a witch, they're like, your intent
Then
is
you
to
are.
defend a witch. Chink chink. Oh, I think I heard him making a deal with the devil in the middle of the night. That's 2. What about the 3rd one? We don't talk about the 3rd one. Just don't worry about that one. No one can figure out what it means. That they asked permission by God for it. So just witch. Like there was,
reasonable.
yeah, and that carried through all across the European witch inquisition and the Salem witch trials. So I think there's one story where like they started with one person being a witch and like they were asking for witnesses and a couple people were like, they're not witches. So then they're like, well, they must be witches then. And then
I
people
think I
tried
heard about
defending
that when I was
yeah.
at the Salem Witch Museum. I don't retain much, but that sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that.
And then like people tried defending them. They're like, well, they're witches too. And they're like, does anybody else want to defend
Anybody
anybody?
else? Come
And the
on.
whole town was like, no, sounds reasonable. Sounds perfectly reasonable.
It's worse.
All makes sense. Witches, all of them.
There's a reason they call this the Dark Ages.
Mhm.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
lest we forget, remember when we did the Bell Witch episode, this kept going on well into the 1800s as well in the rural areas.
Yeah.
Oh, there was I was when I was looking at things, I mean, there was cases as not necessarily like, oh, witch trials or whatever, but like people
Being accused.
being accused of witchcraft is like 2006. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the one country for like the World Cup or a soccer game, like hired witch doctors to like, you know what I mean, to make sure they would win the soccer game or something. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
it's
there are still places in the world today that
Mhm.
truly believe that witches plague them and like they will hunt and kill witches. Like that is something that still happens today in parts of the
And
world.
are they also not having sex and can't get women? Is that
probably,
what
yeah.
this is?
Nothing surprised me. Nothing surprised me. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, this guy I think everybody when they talk about this book, like, oh, it's a terrible book, the terrible things. It absolutely did. This book was a hot piece of shit. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is like, oh, some fucking nerd who no one would go out with wrote it. And then got mad because no one would go out with him. He's like, well, I'm gonna show you women. Witches.
And would have stayed a pathetic nerd had not the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know
I
what's
don't know who
also
the Pope at that time was, but
someone not very intelligent. It was also weird too. Is like this guy couldn't get out of him. He's like, I bet these witches just want to have sex with everyone, and the devil and demons and stuff. Ugh, gross. Unless anybody wants to go out with me.
Yeah, I was just yeah.
I am
Unless-
a witch hunter. I have a letter from the Pope. See that? Read my book. I spent the first 33 chapters talking about how everybody thought I was wrong.
Oh, wait, how long is the book? Did you say that? I forgot.
It's pretty long text. Because it wasn't like when it was first written, it was like scroll parchment, and like they've printed it, but I think like each section has their subsections, and like I think there's like if I remember, I think it's like 80 something sections to this. And it's like it's small print. It's
He
just
could write about this for that long? Like,
Well,
I mean,
the
it's
whole-
Added
like-
to it every time somebody came up with a loophole, he
Mhm.
would write against
Yeah.
it.
And
it's
like
wait a minute.
legit, Jamie, the first third of this book is talking about how here's how I came up with this. Everybody says I'm wrong, this is cruel, but I talked to the Pope. He basically wrote like this is what the Papa Bull said, and like here's all this stuff. This is why I'm wrong, and the rest of you guys, or this is why I'm right, and the rest of you guys are wrong. And all these other witch hunters out here who say this is wrong, what do they know? I actually tried trying a witch. He even put like, there's even like a part where he's like, I've tried exorcising witches, but they have to admit it, and no witch ever admits they're a witch.
Wait,
I tried to be
not to go
reasonable.
on that, but actually to perform an exorcism, do you need an admission of possession?
Well, in the sense of a witch, because you're not exercising the devil out of them, you're exercising their powers they give you out of them. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. Okay.
He is just looking for any way to punish women because no one wants to go out with them.
Yes, we've gathered that.
So there are parts where he like talks about stuff, and like anytime you're like, "Oh, is there a way out of this?" No, because they're wrong. They're witches.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to trick people, I guess, and
Yeah.
or at least put the fear of
There
death
wasn't
in them,
a-
basically, because it's you
There
know.
wasn't a lot of literacy at this time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a fear of death and missing genitals.
You'd have fit right in, Eli.
What would I fit in?
I don't know.
Listen, if I was alive this time, I'd be hanging out in the woods, just doing my thing.
If I was
Just a
alive at this
witch.
time, I would have been dead already. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. I have no
Jamie would
chance.
have already jumped in the closest lake.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had no
Well,
parts.
did it? So did people like flee? Because I would have just. I know it's not that easy. We're in a different
Mm.
time, but like pick up your shit and just and take your goats and move on.
That's how you get the movie The Witch.
Well, I think like people would try to like get out of like they try to like live civilization, but like this Inquisition like grew because then like it kind of got, we talked about a little bit earlier, like kind of got involved in like the Catholic Protestant wars, and like it was a whole thing. And then finally like everybody in Europe was like, this is fucking nuts. Let's just stop this Inquisition. And then the Protestants were like, hey, we're going to America. We're gonna take our witch hunter guides with us. Bye. And then they
What a-
did the Witch Inquisition Part 2. Say the witch trial.
What a shitty time to be alive.
Yeah. Not only can you have diarrhea to death because you don't got enough vitamin C,
Or clean drinking water.
clean drinking water, you're drinking out of mud holes. There's a guy in your village who doesn't wear pants.
That's the least of my problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another guy in your village who just throwing rabbits
Throwing
at people.
rabbits around.
Hey, I only throw them at the crows.
The crows.
For that
Yeah.
specific purpose.
There's a pope who apparently just thinks anything's a good idea,
Yeah,
know?
he's like, that sounds good. I don't know.
and you're eating dirt for dinner. Like, what else you gonna do? What
My
else are you
God.
gonna do? Yeah, that's the Malleus Maleficarum. And I would say, you know what? I don't think anybody here is a witch because I've never seen anybody shoot lightning at someone's genitals. So
That's true.
That's the
Yeah.
requirement you're using.
Put a measuring stick on.
the book talks about it quite a bit.
Okay, fair enough then.
So it was from thunderstorms or whatever. Is that what you said?
They could create what they call a harrow storm or a flash storm,
Yeah.
like a quick rising storm, and then shoot the lightning at men in their genitals and animals. Which I don't know why you would just be like,
Wait, they could take the genitals off animals or just shoot lightning?
they
at
would just
animals?
kill
Wait.
animals, shoot lightning,
Oh,
kill
that's
animals.
terrible.
But men, they would either hit men or they could blow their genitals right off.
Just
You know?
boom. There they go.
I like to think they were using their finger guns,
just going around.
yeah, just shooting genitals off, going to villages.
Pew pew pew.
According to Jeff, they were actually disappearing and just popping up in corn stalks.
Well, that
No,
was
that was me.
one power. Yeah, that was
Or Jamie,
That was-
excuse me.
one power of their. I mean, they could destroy them too, but
Oh shit!
what-
I gave myself away with that.
Witch!
yeah.
Do you
We
think
knew,
they
we
forever forgot that they had already replaced someone's genitals with corn? And then when they shot the lightning a second time, a bunch of popcorn blew out of their pants?
Oh,
It's
I was going to say the
possible,
wiener
yeah,
came
yeah.
back, but
Yeah.
that's they
Whoa.
just popped it. It's
Just a
even
bunch
funnier.
of popcorn.
Yeah, like popcorn's coming out of their pant legs.
That's actually
Oh.
that's how popcorn was discovered.
Oh, by witches
Created.
forgetting they had already shot genitals off and were just shoot people's
Wait a
corn
And then
cobs.
let's try and eat this. Oh,
I'm going to eat his genital fluff from his corn cob wiener.
Well, they know it's a corn cob. It's not. They know what it is, and then they're just like,
That's true. That even makes them look even more evil because not only did they blow my groin off twice, now they're eating it.
yeah. Now they just. At least they're making use of it.
That's true.
Purpose.
That's true. Yeah.
Blew
Good.
your groin off twice.
Yeah.
That's not a phrase you hear every day.
You're the wiener.
Yeah. Hey, you're the winner, everybody. Yeah, that's our story. We're sticking to it.
Well, not our story.
Well,
Whatever
not our story,
his
but-
name is story, but yeah.
Just some asshole could get a date.
I'm D&D player.
Some asshole.
First
couldn't
off,
get a
do
date.
not compare us to that, okay? I play D&D, and if I ever got turned down for a date, I was never like, they're all witches. Never did that, all right? Don't you malign D&D
I
players.
critically failed my flirt. power. May I reroll?
Oh, I fumbled and hit myself in the crotch with a lightning bolt.
Oh, my God. Oh, heck.
She must have her repel nerd spell up.
Oh, man.
That's ignorant.
And all joking aside to our audience, who may very well be D&D players, I am also a D&D player.
Oh, so
Let's
you're
get-
allowed, right? That's
I
one of
just
those
get-
things.
I just get these vibes from a guy who would go through all of this
Well,
because he was a
we've
big
all-
boy.
Anybody who's played D&D has probably run across somebody that's
Yep.
might have
Same.
might have that kind of outlook.
This is one of those guys that doesn't wear deodorant, not because he can't afford it, just because he don't care,
He just doesn't want to.
you know?
Because damn the man.
And from what I read about the guy that wrote it, it didn't seem like a lot of people liked him before he wrote this book.
He wrote this.
Weird.
Well, no,
Yeah.
yeah, no shit. We've been through this. We've been through why he wrote this,
Yeah, people didn't seem to like him before he wrote the book.
so he
And
can
they-
get rid of the whole town. He's
And
like,
then
you
they-
know what?
Then they didn't like him after he wrote the book.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because he was burning their wives and
Oh, yeah.
daughters.
Yeah, he had that loose gun, like, witch over there. Oh, there's another one.
My porridge was cold. You must be a witch.
Must be a witch.
Oh, you got some Jack Crew up here. You got mahogany? Nope, witch blew off my wiener.
Blew off my mahogany.
Wait, don't don't like crows exist?
Mhm.
Whoa,
Like, I guess I don't.
whoa.
You had to fight them. You had to fight them off, right? Never mind. I was
Who's
trying to think
fighting?
of, like,
What?
Did Jamie
What's that-
just ask if crows
If
exist?
No, what I
You're
meant
not one of
is-
those, are you?
guys,
Jamie?
guys.
Wait,
What I meant is, I
do you think
forgot
any
that it's
birds
like,
are real?
oh Jesus fucking Christ! What I meant was that
Were crows
I
found
forgot
in
that
the
you had to get
1400s?
rid of them. What I was saying is, like, did he think anybody who had, if they landed on something, that was it? Like, but you had to
That
get
could be
rid
a
of
sign
them,
of a witch.
Like,
Like,
what I'm saying is, they existed in life. So how?
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
you
Crows
had
were
to
real.
shoo them away. God
Listen,
help you.
this may surprise you, Jamie. I think he picked things that would make it real easy to be
Yeah.
like, witch, because like he was like witches could have familiars, and like if you see one, even if it's not around a person, it's probably a witch. Okay, what
Just
are
kill it.
they? Any small animal that's commonly around. Frogs, witch. But my farm, there's a bunch of frogs in my lake, on my property. It's not a lake full of witches.
Could
Poor
be a lake full of
animals.
witches. That's true.
Oh, I have a bunch of rabbits in my garden. You're growing witches fruit. They're just. He was looking for anything.
You know what a witch grows in their garden?
Gosh.
I'm
I-
not gonna
I-
put it up there.
I don't even know if I want to respond to it. What does a witch grow?
Penis trees.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
All right. I thought you were gonna say
Well
something
established.
like some pun that was just gonna make me embarrassed.
It's even clearly and very meticulously detailed in illustrations in the Malleus Maleficarum.
Yeah, that they're all about the penises. They have penis trees. That is a
Really?
real thing. Yeah, there's a drawing of like this witch just has a tree with all these penises on it because like they were all about penises.
Well, he was all about penises, which is totally fine. But
No,
like,
he was about witches were trying to take your penises.
no, I
and
think
blow them
no,
off.
he's obsessed with them. He was
Is
a
that-
little. He was a
is
little
that the
confused.
crow?
That looks like the crow. Oh yeah, the crow. Because we're talking about crows, guys.
Yeah. But that's the crow.
Yeah, well,
the crow.
That's
Yeah, I think
things
Jamie
are.
has pretty much nailed it. This he's pent up.
Yeah,
in
and
a
he
lot of
and like
ways.
so now we're like, really like nobody would have sex with him. Like that's the thing. Like nobody. So now like,
Well, who would? Because they saw what he did when one girl turned him down. Nobody would want to touch this guy.
I'm just saying he would lost in every aspect of.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah,
just.
Does it mention anywhere if he wore pants?
It did not. I'm
Couldn't really
assuming he
say.
did.
Okay.
I'm
All
assuming he did.
Now there's his first problem.
Are you saying he wouldn't have been this way if he hadn't wore pants?
Hey, you ever gone without underwear?
Yeah, but like he's like riding a horse around and stuff.
Well,
it's also like-
that's
It's
even more reason.
It's also the 1400s, so like there's woods and stuff. You're walking through briars and everything. Why would you
That's
not have
fine.
pants?
Well, I
You
don't
develop-
think the
you
pants
develop a
back then
tolerance.
were very protective.
That was
anyway.
my point, right? Like,
But
there was
it's
no point in
something.
wearing pants. Like,
I
Let,
mean-
let me ask you a question, right?
You're only
Okay.
going to live to 30 either way.
yeah. So you definitely would have been a witch,
do it
Jamie, 'cause you wouldn't
pants-free.
have had any pants on either.
I would not want to live in your guys' village. It's just like riding to town. There's just all these people with no pants and some random guy throwing rabbits at people. I
Sounds
wouldn't
like
be in that village.
Sounds like a cool village to me. I don't know.
I am
Ugh.
not throwing rabbits at people.
It's just the crows.
It's the crows.
Oh, okay.
Don't you throw a rabbit at me.
All right. Well, on that note, hey, Dave, you want to tell these fine folks about the Wicked Wild?
Sure. If you've gotten this far first, God bless you. You're a witch.
You survived. Yeah.
You have passed our test. Welcome to the coven. But if you want to learn more, if you're interested in our main show, which is where we do a horror movie review, obviously the one that inspired the lively conversation we had tonight was our review of The Witch.
The
by Robert
Vivitch.
Eggers. The Vivitch. But if you want to learn more, you can go to our website, thewickedwild.com. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do that on Twitter at WickedWildWeAre. And if you want to get the videos, and especially if you're listening to the Campfire Tales, you'll want to check out the videos every once in a while because we get pretty goofy in it. But you can do that on YouTube at the Wicked Wild Podcast.
Very nice. Very nice.
You
Jamie
know
is
how
there.
easy that is? Eli, we've been doing it a year and you still can't do it.
I just letting you do it. Okay.
You're letting me do it. You sound
I'm
like
giving
witch
you a
hunter now.
voice. Okay.
We know what happens when he let me do it. So
I didn't want to say anything.
Jamie's like, we do something on here. I don't know. It's
Places.
Talk about stuff.
on the spot. I'm just sitting here trying to
It's
enjoy my
wiener. It's wiener
conversation
year.
about. I'm trying to think of which one that was. Krampus. I'm just trying to enjoy.
Yeah.
I think it was Krampus. Just trying to enjoy my conversation about Christmas time, and I got put on the spot.
Hey,
way to
listen.
go, Eli.
Listen.
I
I'm-
think Eli
I'm-
put a spell on you.
I'm looking right now, and I'm reading. Hey, guess what? You just said something bad about me. You must be a witch.
No, we already. I mean, come on.
I'm looking for lightning above my head. All right, Jamie, is there anything you want to talk about?
No.
All right, well, fine.
No.
Witch.
Done with you now. She's done with you.
I don't think pleading the fifth it keeps you from being a
Hey,
witch.
remember,
My witchy nails might make
There
me a
you
witch.
go.
whether you admit it or you don't admit it, that is a sign of guilt.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. It's like I can't win, guys. Like I'm already dead.
Yeah.
It does not
There's
matter.
really like when I was looking through it, there's really no way that there's really no
No,
way
there
out of it.
isn't.
Like
There
once it's
isn't.
done,
The
it's
crosshairs,
Well,
yeah.
as long as you're just not accused, right? As long as you
That's
fly
pretty
under
much
the
it.
radar,
Yeah.
that's it. Like
Now, let
as
me
long
ask
as
you
you're
this,
just
Eli.
popping out children and don't love anybody
Yeah.
and don't
Exactly.
hate
Keep your
anybody,
mouth shut,
you
yeah.
don't say a word.
and
do
if
what the men folk tell you, basically, it seems
and if
like.
some nerd rides in your town, they can't shut up about a Pope seal paper he got, and he asks you to dinner,
Burn him.
you run away. Jeff, anything you want to plug for the fine folks?
Yeah, you can check us out on Lore Masters of the Absurd. Also, we talk about movies, all kinds of movies. It's kind of like this, but we do sprinkle in some movie talk every once in a while. But you can check us out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, someplace else.
Facebook?
Oh, way to go. Way to go, Jeff.
Facebook.
Way to go. Oh my God. You don't even know what you do.
Facebook, Instagram, Lord Masters of the Absurd on all of those.
Dave's been on.
Mhm.
Jamie's
Dave's been
gonna
on.
be on coming up. soon.
Uh-oh.
I've been on a couple of times.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
a really good time and will not be invited back. I'm confident. in that.
I'll
I'm-
invite you back.
I'm confident that we will write a movie while I'm on because
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
you
mean,
do.
look, we're sitting on a gold mine, Jamie. Okay,
a few.
sitting on a gold mine. You know what? I think we should write
Yeah.
a witch movie. All right, but it's gonna be the movie about this nerd.
But I play all the witches.
Okay,
I have
Okay.
to. I mean,
I
I have to
thi-
play 13 roles
Why'd
or
you
whatever.
think about that? That seemed like an obvious choice.
I
Yeah,
have to
but,
play.
like,
I have to play
is
the
it-
men
do
and
we-
the female
do we
witches.
want her
because-
do we want her to just play
We have to work
witches?
on our special effects so
Yeah.
Jamie can shoot lightning at people's crotches.
They want popcorn kernels pulled out of their pants holes. You have a character of you, Jeff, to some guy Tanner walk around with no pants. He-
You know, the funniest thing happened, Jebediah. Another penis appeared in the cornfield the other day.
Wait, hold on, Jeff. You're saying you're not going to wear pants, right? But doesn't that just
I-
make your
the
genitals a
movie?
more easy target for the witches? Well, yeah, in the
Well,
movie too. Like,
what are
when
you
that-
talking about?
if you're in this village, this 1400s village, right? And you're saying I'm not wearing pants, my genitals are just hanging out. Doesn't that make it easier target for a witch to blow off your genitals?
It's a
No,
moving
because
target.
they could go right through the pants
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Pants mean
But-
nothing. We've established that in this time, pants are useless.
But at least if you
Wool
have
at
pants, they
best.
got to try to aim a little bit, you know? They're gonna be
no,
like,
they don't
"Ugh."
because they just think about it, remember, and it just disappears.
Maybe
Seem-
not having pants is my witch glamour power.
Ooh.
You know what? Maybe. But Jamie, you seem to know a lot about that.
Whoa.
Are you a witch? How to aim your powers and stuff? See how the way she's talking? Those aren't even things I brought
She
up.
should just call you up like, hey,
Surprise!
lads. Lightning to the crotch. Like,
Oh God! Well, hey everybody.
Jamie, are you a
I
level
text
12
him and it
dark
just-
witch?
I text him. It just says look down.
yeah, look down.
Why am I popcorn in my lap?
and then just got him.
Oh my
Got
God!
him.
I can't with you people. Well, hey everybody. On that note,
Does your health insurance cover that?
I don't
Lightning
think
to
so.
the
Popcorn,
crotch.
I think they call it popcorn pocket.
Popcorn.
I think that's the name of the disease. Y'all popcorn pocket. You know, if you ever reach in your pocket, pull out popcorn, people. You might suffer from popcorn pocket.
Yeah, it'd
Hey,
be fun to
too
go to the
late.
movies with, though, I guess.
Ooh,
I
I
feel
think
like
guys
you,
have tried that in movies.
well, we're getting.
That's a different kind of popcorn trick.
I think we've skated the line real close tonight, and we're getting real close to getting off that line. So, on that note, thanks everybody